Hello everyone, welcome back to Valley of the Mist Block of the Month. I'm Adriane Ritter.
And I'm Shelley McNeely.
And this is the April 2024 Block of the Month. So this block this month is called Woven Knot. I don't want you to be intimidated because there's a lot of little pieces that you have to cut, but we simplified it as much as we could. So let's just have Shelley dive in.
Okay, so first of all, let's talk about this year we're using this focus fabric, and it's called Yalke, designed by June Smith for M&S Textiles. And you need this if you want to turn in your block at the guild meeting for the drawing. Otherwise, you can use your own focus fabric
For the year.
All right, so what we need. For the focus fabric, we need one piece that's 2 1/4 by 2 inches, another focus that's 2 1/4 inch square, and another one that's 2 1/4 by 5 3/4. And then for the white, we need 4 2 1/4 inch squares, 2 pieces that are 2 inches by 4 inches, and one piece that is 2 inches by 9 inches. Then we're going to have a light coordinating fabric, which would be these pieces here.
Yeah, it's the most used coordinating fabric in this block.
And we're going to need 8 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 4 inches. And then we're going to have a dark coordinating, which is going to be like the opposite of where the focus is going to go. And those pieces are, one of them is 2 1/4 by 2 inches, and then there's one that's 2 1/4 inches square, and then there's one that's 2 1/4 by 5 3/4. And then we're going to have 2 more coordinating fabrics, and these are the ones that go on the sides. And for those, we're going to need one piece that's 2 1/4 inches square, and one piece that's 2 1/4 by 7 1/4.
Okay, so this block, when I found the original version of this block, it was for a different size block. It wasn't for a 12-inch finished block like we make. And when I resized it, the sizes came out really not pleasant to cut. I'll just put it that way. So I messed with the sizing, and the only way on our 12-inch block, because there are 7 sections across, the only way I could get it to work was that I made these sections, these like 6 of the strips, they're all basically 2 1/4 inches square that you have to cut because they finish at 1 3/4 inches. But to do that, then I had to make this center section. I took the extra out of that, and that is why there's 2 different widths. So if it's a piece that's going to go in this center joining section between the blocks, it's a 1/4 inch smaller. So that's the only reason. So if you see a piece that's only 2 inches wide, that's where it goes. Okay, so this block is not hard to sew. And I do want to say right from the start, we do need to use an accurate 1/4 inch seam to make this. But it can easily get confused of which piece you're working on, which section.
Yes.
So we recommend that you take either a pressing mat or a place on your cutting board or a design board like this, and lay out your pieces, and you won't lose what you're working on. So this is my block that I'm going to be making now. And the first step, we're going to do this in even steps. That the first part we make for the whole block, we'll be making 4 units, but then eventually the units are different. Mm-hmm. So So at first, we're going to be working with 4 units at a time, and then we'll break down and we'll be doing 2 units at a time. So our first step is easy. You're going to find, after you lay it out, look at the picture of the block and really watch to make sure you have things turned correctly, because it's very easy to get them. And you'll know it's wrong. It's so funny. I put this board up and tried to take the picture, and I kept going, wait a minute. It's not weaving. If it's not weaving, you've got something turned. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find these little, there's a white 2 1/4 inch square, and next to it should be a 2 1/4 inch square of some colored fabric. It'll be one coordinating, a dark, and then one of the other 2 coordinatings. And you're going to just sew those 2 pieces together. And we're going to come back with those 4 pieces sewn together. I did forget to mention that you need to be, in this last section, pressed to the darker fabric. And I think as we go forward, and except for when we do the very last center strip,
I think so.
You're going to press to what we call the less complicated side. So in this case, because this already has a seam in it, we'll press to this one that doesn't have a seam. All right, so the other thing is that this orientation with the white piece and the coordinating fabric, with the white on your left and the coordinating on your right, that's how we want you to always position these pieces. Even if you pull them from a different section of the block, just always set them this way. So now the next piece you have up there is going to be of your light fabric. And these light fabric pieces are all the exact same size. So you could take any of them, but if you want to keep remembering where they go, it helps. So you're going to take a light piece and you're going to put it underneath that, each of the 2 units, and you're going to sew this seam together. And we're going to do all 4 of those, and then we'll be back. All right, so we have our 3-piece units done. And in case I mumbled wrong the last time, I'm not very good with left and right, but I want to make sure that I said that the white is on the right when you're looking at it.
Yeah.
And the color fabric.
We're doing this is what we're working at. We have these 3 pieces done so far.
Right, and it kind of turns each time you go around. So we want you to set them in front of you correctly.
Yeah, because it doesn't. They turn, but you still put them together the same way.
Right. And you were going to mention something about
Remember that because every time I sew this, I put it back on my board where it belongs, so that doesn't get me mixed up when I go to add the next thing. But remember, each time how this is these coordinating fabrics here are always end up on the outside edge, no matter what. And there's in the straight line, this color is always on this side. This is only on the bottom. Yeah. That's how they are.
Yeah, so. And I keep the focus at the top and the other coordinating at the bottom, just like that. Okay, so our next piece, we're actually grabbing this piece right here. It's the other light piece of fabric of your light coordinating. And that's going to go right next to this, make a little square, a little frame kind of starting.
Right.
And you're going to sew that onto the right side of your little sub piece on each of the 4 groups.
Right.
Okay. Hey, Scooty. Scoot along. Good thing I put that up.
Yeah. Always worry about his tail catching something. You better go lay down. Go on, lay down.
Hey, Clippity Clopper. Oh, I'll be back.
Yeah, you'll be back.
All right, so we have these 4 piece units done. And now we're going to take a break from building them 4 at a time because there's no more 4 at a time. And to make sure you understand that, we're going to build this center strip. So that's pretty easy. You're just going to take your long piece of white that's 2 inches wide, and you should have a piece of focus and a piece of your dark coordinating. They're also 2 inches wide. You're going to sew them to either end, and you're going to press to the white. Shelley's the one who figured that out.
I think that's right. Let me make sure.
Oh, no, I know it is, because when we get down here, we press to the simpler here.
Yes.
And it would go to the darker one. So.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll come back with that center strip, and then we're getting close. It doesn't seem like it, but we're getting close. So we have our center sewn, and I just want to give you a little update. There's 9 really short little sewing units in this block, and we've already done 4 of them, so we're almost there. But we moved our blocks onto this so you can see the white fabric better, because obviously those other have a white background. So now you can see there's 5 little sections to the block. We've set them so you can see the sections. We haven't moved them, we've just separated them. Mm-hmm. Here's that centerpiece, and then we have these 2 little, here's the 4-piece units on all of them, but this section only has 1 more piece to add to it, just like this one. And this section has 2 pieces to add to it. So we're going to add the last piece to these, the focus corner and the dark corner, which it actually encompasses 2 different colors of fabric. Mm-hmm. But so we're going to take, and you know, you'll know it's wrong if they don't fit, because these are the pieces should be the right size.
Yes.
Or else your seams are not exactly right. So you're going to sew the focus. You're going to set it like we've been saying, with that white and the coordinating to the right, to the left, and you're going to sew that piece, this seam right here, sew those together, and then you're going to sew, this now is upside down from that one, and you're going to sew this. So this is going to fold onto this, if I can make it release. That's going to go right there, and this one's going to go here, and we're going to sew those together. Moving right along, here we go. Now, we've got a lot of confidence in you guys. We think we can do 2 steps in this one. So, what do they got to do, Shelley?
Okay, on these opposite ones, we didn't just sew on the opposite corners. We're going to sew the white to the green or I should say green.
To your light. To the light.
Does not have a seam in it. Does not have a seam in it. So that's the side you're going to sew the white to.
And then you're going to press that to,
I don't know that it matters. I would probably press it to the
dark.
To the darkest one, yeah.
Yeah, press to the dark on this one. We'll be crazy. Yeah. Press to the dark. And then the second step we're going to have you do is sew that last piece of coordinating fabric on.
Right.
And that's going to go on the side that has 4 seams.
Yes.
So the other side only has
1 seam.
1 seam. 2. I'll have 2 because I'll have the white on there.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So now you'll know which one. Okay.
Yes.
And then when you come back, we'll have 3 columns, right?
3.
Oh no,
yes.
no.
Well, we
well,
have
not quite, because we want to sew them together. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll arrange them in. Forget what I said. Okay.
You'll have 5 pieces.
Yes. Let's say it that way. Okay. All right. The end is near. We're going to sew these 2 pieces together. So you're going to take a light coordinating and fold it down on here. And on this side, you're going to fold it up. Sew those together. Press to whichever way it wants to go.
Yeah.
If it wants to press open, do that. Just don't fight it too much.
Whatever is easiest for you.
Yeah. All right. We only have 1 step left. Now, we should have 3 sections left.
Right.
If they don't look like they're woven, you have them in the wrong order, and you might want to start ripping things. No.
Well, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously the last section we're going to sew these bigger units to either side of this center strip.
And you know it's right, because the focus should match the focus and the dark should match the dark.
Right, and when you are aligning these strips to sew them, this dark piece should nest with the center if you press this to the white. And this focus should nest with that one.
Right.
All right, and then
we'll be back.
I just hope you've got a 12.5-inch block. We will, I know it.
You know, along the way, you should know, because every time you're sewing a new piece on, that's the size it needs to be.
Yes.
So,
unless
keeps you in line.
Unless you cut them wrong, but we're going to assume you did it. All right, so we'll be back in a minute. So here we have our finished blocks, and I really like them. I do want to point out, you know, when we're describing the fabrics you need for this year, and we're saying a light and a dark, and 2 others, you know, what we're really looking for is contrast. Mm-hmm. So because really my gold here in this block is not very light, but when I think of it, it looks lighter, but when I use, you know, a green or a red
film thing
to show light and dark. Actually, these 2 come out kind of medium. These 2 are dark, but definitely, like we mentioned in our first video of this year, there's a couple of blocks, we haven't gotten to them yet, that contrast is really what you want. Mm-hmm. And the beauty of this block is, here is the 4th block of the 12, and we've got 4 coordinating fabrics in it. And so it gives you a chance to tie it together.
Right.
Because this block here, if you look at Shelley's other blocks up here, which, you know, we make 2 of each block, and we donate 1 to the drawing, and we make a quilt that we usually put in the quilt show. Mm-hmm. Each, you know, eventually. Yeah. Maybe not this year.
Yeah.
Eventually. Anyway, so this is like, if you look at her block, she's got green, pink, purple. Where'd that purple come from? But now this block ties it all together. Mm-hmm. And so kind of be thinking about that if you're making a quilt for yourself, that there's a lot of opportunity to use different colors in
right.
this and tie it together how you want.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if we didn't really talk about it, and maybe we could mention, we simplified this block because potentially there had a Y seam.
Yes.
That's why we're sewing 2 of the same colors together, because originally we didn't do that.
Right.
And then we changed our mind.
This was supposed to be one long piece with a Y seam right here, and we didn't do that.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, Y seams really aren't that hard.
They aren't, but
just some people don't like them, and we don't want to intimidate people. I know in prior videos we've done a Y seam and had to do it. It's just, it's really not hard.
Right.
But
if you don't like them, a lot of times there's a way around it, though.
Yeah, so. But you'd have to think of it ahead.
Yes.
Because this you have to make this piece. You can't cut this piece down. You have to make it a quarter inch bigger or a half inch bigger,
right,
to allow for that seam, and then cut it down.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
So
hope you like it.
Yeah. There's our. So this is the last of the 4 that are composed of squares and rectangles. Now the next 4 are. It's a celebration of half square triangles. And we're going to do some that are, a couple of them that are really just how color, you know, the whole block is all half square triangles. And we want to show you with a couple how different a block looks depending on how you place the color.
Right. And, excuse me. You'll see that when we do this, a lot of them are cut exactly the same size pieces. So that is
right,
how
and we'll
it
talk
works.
about this next month, because we do round up to give you a little extra, because they're like supposed to be like 3 7/8, and we do them 4 inches or whatever. But there's a couple of the blocks. I'm not sure if it's in this next section, but in I know we have 2 blocks this year which have in the block 2 different size half square triangles within the block.
Yeah.
So all right, so we'll see you back here next month.